Hi, welcome again. In today's video, we're going to look at the list of marriage killers as reflected in scriptures. As we wrap up what we have been doing all week long, maybe 2-3 weeks now, I want to just title this discussion today, Marriage Killers. Marriage Killers. Of course, this before I go on, the summary of all of this is, if you do not take conscious effort to keep your marriage, the enemy will break it. If you are not consciously working hard to make sure that your marriage works, you will end up divorced. That's the bottom line. There's no other way to say that. What is a long list of marriage killers that I have for you? I do not have a new list for you. I just wanted to wrap up what we have been looking at for the last couple of weeks, which is the works of the flesh. All of them are marriage killers. The works of the flesh are marriage killers. And the marriage builder is walking in the Spirit. Yield to the Spirit, your marriage will work. Walk in the flesh, you will destroy yourself, you will destroy your marriage, you will destroy your faith. And if you're not careful, if you continue like that, you will lose eternal life. There's a freedom that we have, but that freedom is not to be abused. That freedom is to be used to serve one another. So when I talk about marriage killers, of course, if you ask a secular person what are marriage killers, the first one that they will give to you is communication problems. And there is a reason why, because if you look at all the works of the flesh, communication is a big portion of it. The way you communicate with one another is a big portion of working in the flesh. And working in the flesh is when you refuse to walk in the Spirit. That is, you refuse to obey what the Holy Spirit is leading you to. And you begin to communicate that I want what I want. I don't care about what you want. I just want what makes me feel good. And that's what working the flesh looks like. And so the communication from you to your wife is that I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what you are. I just want me. I want my stuff to be, my needs to be met. I want to be happy, and I don't want to obey God. I want to just do myself. I want to be God, actually. So when you communicate that, you set up your marriage for complete confusion and destruction. Why? Because as a child of God, you are in a spiritual engagement. Marriage is a spiritual covenant. Although somebody has the power to break that, they can choose that they don't want to do that anymore, but it's not something that should be taken lightly or broken lightly. And that's why communication will be the first thing. Another thing that I would say is unforgiveness. If you look at all the works of the flesh, you will notice that unforgiveness is embedded there. It's embedded there. And other things would be lack of intimacy, lack of respect for one another. All of these things that really destroy marriages, they are manifestations of the works of the flesh. And if you want to cure the works of the flesh, you just walk in the Spirit. Right? So the beginning of the whole thing is in verse 13, where it says, in New Living Translation, but don't use your freedom to satisfy your sinful nature. Instead, use your freedom to serve one another in love. If you can hold on to this, you're already doing well in your marriage. And if you decide to ignore that and rather find ways to manipulate your spouse to serve you, you have entered into the full manifestation of the works of the flesh, and you will break your marriage. That's what I would call the main marriage killer, not serving one another in love. Then we'll look very quickly and just run through. I won't talk about all of them, just highlight some of the works of the flesh that we have looked at. Adultery. Can you imagine fornication, all kinds of immorality, sexual immorality. When you bring any kind of sexual interaction with any other person, either mentally, emotionally, physically, into your marriage, you're killing that marriage for sure. For sure. So that's why I say the killer of marriage, if I want to have one, it would be not walking in the spirit. And of course, not walking in the spirit equals walking in the flesh. Idolatry, when God doesn't have the right position in your heart. Witchcraft, trying to control your spouse, not sharing financial details with them, trying to hide information or keep them from enjoying the finances of the family. Hatred, unforgiveness is hidden inside that one. Hatred, jealousy, trying to control every movement of your wife. Fits of rage, anger, the communication style. If you read the book and the messages of John Gottman, he has the 4 horsemen. One of them is a criticism or contempt. All of these things are manifestations of the flesh, stonewalling. All of this come from hatred, disgust, selfish tendencies that, she's not pleasing me, she's not doing what I want, therefore I'm going to do things to hurt her or trigger her to answer and behave the way I want her to behave. There are so many men that just ignore their wives. They tell themselves that if I don't speak to her, she's going to feel the pain, she's going to come beg me, she cannot survive when I don't talk to her. Yes, she needs healing in that area, because she should not be like that. She should not be like, I can't survive when my husband is not feeling good. No, she should be, well, my husband is not feeling good. The enemy must be harassing him, or he's having some trouble. I'm going to pray for him. And whenever he's ready, I will be ready to engage with him. Now, not everybody can do that, because they also need some healing in their hearts. Some works of the flesh is somewhere there. Every one of us has this, and our spouses helps us to see them. Right? So if you want to recover your marriage, in this case, you want to keep your marriage going well, then develop a great understanding of what it means to work in the spirit, what it means to serve your wife in love. What does that mean? It means when she is weak, I stand by her. I don't point fingers at her and say, go fix yourself, and then I'll be here waiting for you. No. We say, I'm here ready to serve you as whenever you are ready for me to join with you to deal with that problem. That's what it means to serve one another in love. Sometimes they're not ready to deal with the weakness or the challenges or the fears that they have. It's usually fears that I'm not going to be loved, fear that I'm going to be judged, fear that I'm going to be criticized. And what you want to do as a man of God is to tell her, regardless of what you do, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to just love you. It is so easy to say, but not easy to do. But the moment you choose to learn to do it, you will do it. So I want to really, really challenge you, my brothers. Do not give up on having a great marriage. Do not even think that the solution will be to get rid of this wife and find another one. Or if she's the one that says, I want to go, then to say, you know what, there's no need to fight for her. Let her go and I go get another one. It's going to be a mess. Why? Because there is a plan that God has, which is to challenge you and move you into the position that you ought to be. So my summary today is that if you want your marriage to work well, if you want to repair your marriage, if you want your marriage to be filled with peace, joy, laughter, you need to start from Galatians 5:13, serving one another. And even if your wife is refusing to serve you, serve her all the same. Then walk through all of the verses between that and verse 21 and recognize all the ways that the Lord is pointing to your heart that you are walking in the flesh, make up your mind that I don't want to be that. And then go verse 22 and 23 and learn the love of God that's in your heart. Then unleash that love into your heart, allow it to go to all the places and heal them. And the way that happens is that whenever you do what you don't like, what you were doing before and you were okay with it, this time around, because you're not open to a new way of life, you do them and you feel guilty, and release that to God. Let God heal your heart. Forgive yourself, receive instruction, receive wisdom, and be transformed. That's how you get transformed. I want to wrap up today by sharing with you that if you are in your marriage and you're really hurt by some of the actions of your wife, you're really hurt by the lack of respect that she demonstrates, remember, it's not because she wants to hurt you. It's because she's working in the flesh. And working in the flesh does not mean that you two should walk in the flesh. Her working in the flesh does not permit you, excuse you to walk in the flesh as well. If you choose to, well, you're going to continue to feel the pain that you're feeling. But if you choose to walk in the Spirit, you will get healed and she will get healed too. So if you really would like a transformation in your marriage and you have not yet downloaded my Friendship Rebuilding Cheat Sheet, I want you to do that today. Friendship Rebuilding Cheat Sheet. adesobanya.com/friends. And if you have not attended any of my masterclass, you need to do so. That's the masterclass. It's a free masterclass where I share the 5 steps that anyone must take to move their marriage from struggling to thriving. If you find anyone on this planet that has moved their marriage from struggling to thriving or is having a thriving marriage, they have taken care of those 5 steps. Every believer that's married must go through them. And I want to share those with you so that you can see where you may have missed it and you can make the tweak that you need and have the kind of marriage that you're looking for. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord strengthen you. May the Lord keep you. And until we see again, continue to love like Jesus and make mega impact.